With music, I feel like I have so much of my own stuff intertwined, like my own pain, my own stories, my own, it's very self-aggrandizing and very and I feel like with acting, you get to use those pieces of yourself.
And then it became like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play them.
Did you know that Rachel Zegler was almost in Wicked? Not just as a background character or cameo, but reportedly gunning for one of the most iconic roles in musical theatre, Elphaba. That's right. Rachel Zegler, the rising star who shot to fame with West Side Story, was quietly involved in early conversations for Wicked's highly anticipated movie adaptation. Few people knew it at the time, but long before her name was trending for all the wrong reasons.
Weird.
Rachel was quietly angling for a major part in one of Hollywood's biggest musical blockbusters. And not just any part, she wanted to be the green girl at the center of it all. At first, it looked like she might have a real shot.
I've tried to suppress or hide is a talent.
Rachel began teasing fans by uploading videos belting out "No Good Deed" and subtly suggesting, without ever confirming, that she could be up for the role.
I didn't even really know that it was actually like in casting or happening. And it wasn't until I was like working on Shazam that crew members were talking about going to work on it next. And then I was like, oh, is that like happening? And they're like, yeah, it's totally happening. So people constantly tweet me and be like, so you wore green today. And I think that's you telling me that you're playing Elphaba in the Wicked movie. And I'm like, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, I'm flattered.
Her fans went wild, dissecting every post and comment for clues. Rachel knew exactly what kind of attention those songs would generate, and she leaned into it. It wasn't long before her name started trending alongside the film, even though the official casting hadn't yet been finalized. Her closeness to the Wicked project wasn't random, either. Behind the scenes, Rachel had a key ally, the same producer who would later secure her the lead role in Snow White and who, after things spiraled, reportedly had to fly across the country just to manage the fallout from her public behavior.
There was an in-depth piece, like a behind-the-scenes piece, talking about how they've been in a full meltdown about this girl for a couple of years now, and how they had her tweet out like a little, "Yay, Snow White, can't wait, so excited, I love to play her." And she did it and got like millions of views, and they were like, "Good job, Rachel." And then she, like minutes later, followed it up with, "And never forget, free Palestine." And they were like, my God, what? They flew an executive, one of the producers, out to go visit personally with Rachel Zegler to say, "Could you please take that down? Because we understand you can have your political views, but those aren't really helpful while you're trying to build an audience for a movie. Maybe you could save them for like your diary and your friends, but like maybe not, maybe just take the tweet down." And she wouldn't. And then the son of that producer who got on the plane to go over and say, "Would you please, for the love of God, take this down?" And she wouldn't, was all on Instagram yesterday admitting it all.
That connection gave Rachel early access to Wicked's development process. And insiders say it was that relationship that got her foot in the door to begin with, but it also created complications. With a growing social media following and a rising public profile, Rachel wasn't satisfied with being considered for a supporting part. She had her eyes firmly set on Elphaba and made sure the team behind the film knew it. That's when things reportedly started to get messy. Sources close to the production claim Rachel's behavior on the inside was already triggering red flags. The same patterns that would later cause chaos on the Snow White set were beginning to emerge.
Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged. I truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable, like the majority of people in Hollywood. They're just not stable human beings.
There were whispers that she was becoming competitive with other potential cast members, specifically anyone else rumored for Elphaba. Her enthusiasm morphed into something more intense, bordering on controlling. One production assistant described her early interactions as demanding and restless, noting that she would push for information, suggest changes, and try to influence decisions long before the casting process was complete. The dynamic became as complicated as her tension with Snow White co-star Galadoo, which culminated in an awkward Oscars appearance.
Please welcome Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot.
Visual effects push the boundaries of what we see on screen.
Their work makes the impossible seem possible.
With breathtaking ambition, they create magic that wraps its arms around our wildest imaginations.
Here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
Where the two barely interacted. Industry watchers now point to that frosty moment as further evidence of Rachel's growing reputation for clashing with high-profile peers. Producers steered Rachel towards Snow White to avoid on-set tension, giving her the solo spotlight she craved in preserving Wicked's ensemble dynamic. There's a debate that still simmers online. Was Rachel Zegler simply an assertive, empowered actress trying to carve space for herself, or did she overstep and sabotage her own momentum? She's known for boldly speaking her mind, even when it sparks controversy. A viral clip of her declaring that she deserves to be paid every time her movie is streamed, delivered in a defiant tone, became a symbol of her unapologetic stance.
Say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
Oh, is that right?
To her fans, she's a symbol of modern femininity, pushing for depth in characters, challenging outdated standards, and using her voice to reshape the industry from within. But even among some of her fans, the delivery has been a sticking point. Her efforts often came across not as progressive advocacy, but as personal branding with a political edge. She was bold, yes, but not always graceful. When she teased Wicked songs online and dropped cryptic hints, the buzz was real, but so was the confusion. Instead of aligning herself with the tone of the film and its legacy, Rachel seemed more interested in stirring hype than respecting the project's natural development process. For the Wicked producers, that was a red flag. They'd seen similar patterns play out before. Her connections helped her gain early access, but with that access came tension. Rachel reportedly wanted influence early, suggesting tweaks, pitching herself for a LABA, and asserting opinions that didn't always align with the creative team's direction. And while confidence is often applauded in male stars, in Rachel's case, producers felt it threatened the collaborative atmosphere needed to make a massive musical come to life. The decision wasn't dramatic. There were no public firings or headlines, just silence. Conversations shifted, and Rachel was no longer part of them. By the time Wicked moved forward, Rachel was already diving head first into Snow White. There, she was handed the spotlight she had always craved, a full-scale leading role in a legacy title. But what followed became one of the most chaotic press cycles Disney had seen in years. Everything Rachel had done in the shadows during Wicked. The teasers, the over-explaining, the unchecked commentary now happened under the blinding light of public scrutiny. She spoke confidently in interviews about reimagining the classic princess. She questioned the relevance of the original story. She joked about the prince being a stalker and the audience did not laugh with her. Instead, backlash exploded. Fans accused her of arrogance. The remake was deemed too political. Traditional Disney audiences turned away and the media began asking an uncomfortable question. Was Rachel Zegler ready for this kind of spotlight? Looking back, many in the industry now view Wicked as the first major fork in the road. The moment where Rachel could have taken a different path, one of collaboration, patience, and team-driven storytelling. But that moment passed, and the lessons weren't learned. She went into Snow White with the same energy she brought to Wicked. Only this time, it wasn't behind closed doors. It was streamed, clipped, and endlessly reposted. The very instincts that once made her feel like a rising star now made her a polarizing figure. And the cost is starting to show. Future projects are being re-evaluated. Studios are second-guessing her ability to carry a franchise without controversy. Public opinion has soured and even co-stars are keeping their distance. Rachel, once seen as the next big thing, is now viewed with caution. Had she approached Wicked differently, who knows what might have happened. She could have been part of one of the most anticipated musicals of the decade, performing alongside Broadway royalty, proving her talent in a collaborative ensemble and earning the kind of respect that turns rising stars into icons. Instead, she's watching Wicked from the outside while Snow White crumbles under the weight of public rejection. In the end, Rachel Zegler's story may not be about one failed project or one bad press tour. It may be about how even the brightest talents can lose their footing, not because they lack skill, but because they don't yet know when to speak, when to listen, and when to let the story shine without needing to control every part of it.